Okay, so let's talk about Longines. They have been on an absolute tear lately, just winning over watch folks left and right and really carving out a huge piece of the market for themselves. But there was always one key piece in their lineup, probably the most important type of watch for a lot of us, that just felt like it was due for an update. I'm talking about their main dive watch. So let's get into this brand new HydroConquest and really unpack the strategy behind this massive change.
And this is really the million-dollar question, isn't it? The old HydroConquest, you knew it when you saw it. It had a look. The new one, well, it's a lot more traditional. And we're going to explore why taking what seems like a step backward was actually a huge and frankly necessary leap forward for Longines.
To really get why this happened, you first have to understand the incredible momentum the brand has right now. For the past, 5 years or so, Longines has proven they have their finger directly on the pulse of what collectors are looking for.
I mean, just look at this list of hits. The Spirit, the Zulu Time, the updated Conquest. They've just been knocking it out of the park, delivering awesome designs in the right sizes and at the right price. This shows you they're not just guessing. There's a real strategy at play, which makes the big change to the HydroConquest even more fascinating. So let's talk about the outgoing HydroConquest. It was a solid watch, for sure. No one's arguing that. But it had a very, very distinct identity. One that, funny enough, might have actually been holding it back. The watch first showed up way back in 2007, and it was all about those huge, kind of sporty Arabic numerals at 6, 9, and 12. And even after they updated it in 2018 with ceramic bezels and new colors, that core design DNA was still there. But then in 2023, the GMT version came out, and it was like a little signpost for the future. It completely got rid of those signature numbers.
And this right here, this is the whole story in a nutshell. It sounds totally backward, but the very things that made the old HydroConquest stand out were also the things that were hurting its sales. Those unique design quirks made it a tougher choice for someone who just wanted one great do-it-all dive watch.
And that brings us to the solution, the brand new three-hand HydroConquest. And trust me, this is not just a minor update. It's a complete reimagining of what this watch is supposed to be for the brand.
The new design is a major departure. Longines basically traded that loud, sporty look for something way more traditional, more sophisticated, and, just timeless. It's the classic dive watch look, but done with a real sense of elegance.
Let's zoom in on the dial, because this is where you can really see the glow up. Those huge numbers are gone, swapped out for these beautiful applied indices in that classic diver layout. You've got new lacquered dials that add a ton of depth, and the hands and indices are now rhodium plated, which just gives it a much more expensive look. The whole thing is just cleaner, more balanced, and way more refined.
But the upgrades go way beyond just the dial. So let's put the new 39mm model right next to the old one and see just how deep all these improvements really go. Okay, so you can see the diameter is up just a tiny bit and the lug-to-lug is exactly the same, which is awesome for wearability. But the number that really matters here, the one you should pay attention to, is the case height. It's gone from 12.2mm down to a super slim 11.7.
Seriously, let's just pause on that for a second. 11.7 millimeters. That is incredibly thin for a dive watch that's rated to 300 meters. That is a real engineering feat, and it completely changes how the watch wears on the wrist.
And to really put that number into perspective for you, that makes the new HydroConquest thinner than a Tudor Black Bay 58. You know, the watch that is famous for its slim proportions? Yeah, this one's thinner, and it has more water resistance. That is a massive deal.
The improvements just keep coming with the bracelet. The new H-Link design gets rid of the flashy, polished center links for a much more serious, fully brushed tool watch vibe. It also has a much better taper, going from 20mm down to 16, which adds a ton of comfort.
And here we go. This might be the single biggest quality of life upgrade. The old basic clasp is gone, replaced with a new push-button system that has an on-the-fly, tool-free micro-adjustment. This is an absolute game-changer for getting a perfect fit, especially as your wrist changes size throughout the day. It's a premium feature you'd expect on a much more expensive watch. So what's powering this thing? Well, this is where being part of the Swatch Group really pays off. The new HydroConquest gets the caliber L888.5. It starts as a super reliable ETA base movement, gets upgraded by the mothership, and then it's sent exclusively to Longines where they assemble and regulate it themselves.
So what does all that special treatment get you? You get a modern beast of a movement. It's got a silicone balance spring, so it's more durable. It's got magnetic resistance that blows past the industry standard, and it has this unique 3.5 Hz beat rate. It's just a solid, reliable workhorse, exactly what you want in a watch like this.
So when you add all of these pieces together, the beautiful dial, the crazy thin case, the much improved bracelet, and that exclusive movement, you really start to understand why this change was so important. Longines wasn't just updating a watch, they were completely repositioning it in the market.
And this quote just nails the strategy. Look, Longines already has cool, quirky dive watches with history, like the Legend Diver. What they needed was a universally appealing option, a watch that nobody could find fault with, one that just impresses everyone with its incredible value.
Let's be real. Most people buying a dive watch these days are looking for that perfect one-and-done daily watch. Something tough enough for a weekend adventure, but also sleek enough for the office. By getting rid of the old quirks, Longines built exactly that. A watch that just works for anyone, anywhere.
And that's the bottom line here. With this new release, Longines has found their answer. They didn't just fix the HydroConquest, you could argue they've set a whole new benchmark for what a Swiss dive watch should be in this super competitive price range.
There's really no other way to say it. This is an absolute knockout from Longines. It continues their incredible winning streak and just shows how well they understand what today's watch buyer actually wants. So, all of this leaves us with one last big question. If you have about $2,500 to spend on a new Swiss diver, is this now the undisputed champ? Looking at all the facts, all the upgrades, it is incredibly hard to argue against it. What do you think?